I have proved it a number of times since. I am not actually confined to where this body is. I dwell in it. And he who dwells in it is the Spirit of God, and the Spirit of God is my imagination. I have proven to my own satisfaction that my imagination can travel. I don't have to stand here and think of my home. I can stand here and penetrate my home, leaving the body here as I did on the bed. And penetrating my home, the home becomes a cubic reality, as it will tonight when I take this body home and enter my door. The house is a cubic reality. But must I wait until I get home tonight with this body to give it that? Can I not now, knowing who God is, that God is Spirit, He is now encased in this little garment of flesh, but He is Spirit, and I have discovered He is my own wonderful human imagination. So when man dies, he cannot die, only the garment that he wears can die. For that being that he really is all imagination. And as he enters, wherever he enters, it takes on cubic reality. That I have proven. The immortal you cannot die. It did not begin. So when you leave this world, because you are all imagination, the very moment that you depart, you are in some state, but you being there, you give it cubic reality. And the world is just as real as this world. It's terrestrial, just as this world is, and no one in this world can die. Everything dwells in your own wonderful human imagination. The purpose now is to awaken that being in you, so he is fully conscious at all times. That is the purpose of life. He who came down and took upon himself the weaknesses and the limitations of this garment and confined himself to it is destined to awaken while he is walking this earth. And by this earth, I mean this earth in the sense that it does not end where my senses seem to register it. It doesn't terminate at the point called death, because the being in it goes on, and he's still in the world because he departed this world. His entrance into that state gives it a cubic reality, just like this room now, because we're in it. Now, we come down to a practical use of this law. Because this is so, your dream now is shadowy. You would like to be other than what you are. I think everyone does in this world. It's a form of growing and growing, and we grow and we outgrow. So you would like to be it. But to those who are not in their dream, it's shadowy, a mere possibility. But to those who enter into the dream, it seems the only substance. A man that is now poor and embarrassed because of his poverty, he can still dream, and dream of wealth, dream of security, but it's a shadowy state. It's something that seems to him almost impossible. If he's going to use reason, he will say, how is this thing possible? But if he knows who he really is, that the Spirit of God who creates all things dwells in him, and that he can detach and actually enter his dream, the dream will take on reality, and if he persists in it, it will objectify itself in this world. When I was told I could not do this, or I could not do that, I applied them to practical things, and they work just as well in the practical state. I entered into my dream. It was a dream. When in the army, I couldn't get out. But I wanted to get out. But I wanted to get out honorably. I did not wish to be dishonorably discharged. I wanted to go through this world as a very honest, I would say, clean, wholesome American citizen. And not when I ask questions, were you ever in the army? And then they say, were you honorably discharged? I have to say, no, I was dishonorably discharged. I didn't want that on my record. And so I would not run away from the army. I wanted to get out of it. and get out of it before the end of the war, and to get out of it honorably. So I took the same lesson that I had learned, and I applied it today. So while in the Army, I assumed that I am in my home in New York City, 2,000 miles away. I was in Camp Polk, Louisiana, and I had an apartment in New York City on Washington Square. And so going to bed physically in Camp Polk, I went to bed in my imagination in my home in New York City. Not there on furlough. Not there on some little escape, but there honorably discharged. Then I got off my imaginary bed, walked all through my apartment, and saw everything that I would see if I were there. It took on cubic reality. When I woke the next morning, I was still in Camp Polk, Louisiana. But that night, a strange thing happened to me. It was 4:15 in the morning. And here, a sheet came before my eyes, and on this sheet, a hand appeared from here down, holding a pen. And the pen wrote, "That which I have done, do nothing." First of all, the voice said that, but the pen scratched out my disapproval, for I applied for discharge, and my colonel disapproved it. He said disallowed, and signed it Colonel Theodore Bilbo Jr. That was his name, which is on a record. You can look it up, for he was the one who disallowed my application for discharge. And he simply scratched it out. And over that it wrote in approved, this hand holding a pen. Then the voice said to me, "That which I have done, do nothing." What did he do? He scratched out the colonel's disapproval, and he wrote in approved. And then I woke. 10 days later, I was honorably discharged by that same colonel. And he shook my hand as that I left my base and said, "I will see you after the war is over." I said, "All right, Colonel, thank you very much." And that very night, I was on a train back to my place in New York City. That's how it works. I know from my own personal experience. I am sharing with you what I have experienced, both in the world of Caesar and in the world that is transcendent, something entirely different. So when I speak of being born from above, I am not theorizing. I am telling you exactly what happened to me. When I speak of meeting the Son of God who calls me Father, I am telling you exactly what happened to me. When I tell you I ascended into heaven like a fiery serpent, as told in Scripture, that's exactly what happened to me. When the dove descended upon my hand and then smothered me with love, kissing me all over my face, my head, my neck, I know exactly what happened, because it happened to me. So I'm only sharing with you, not theory, not speculation, only what I know from my own experience.